Good morning, everyone. It is the beginning of an icy morning here in North Mississippi and West Alabama. Welcome to Mid-Morning. We are live this morning in our studio. WCBI's Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by live for us, and we're going to get the very latest from him in just a moment. But first, some information you may need to know today and tomorrow. Many schools have transitioned to virtual learning today and tomorrow. Others are already taking the President's Day holiday. We have a complete list of all of those closures on our website, wcbi.com. Also, warming shelters are set up around our area, and MDOT is reporting widespread icy conditions on roads and bridges, so do be careful if you're out there and only travel if absolutely necessary. Now, to some of those warming shelters, community organizations are partnering with the city of Columbus to open warming shelters. The Columbus Community Outreach and GTR Coalition are making sure that people have a safe place to sleep at night. Now, the shelter is in the blue building behind the Salvation Army. Again, this is in Columbus. It will be open today through Friday. The shelter can accommodate roughly 40 people. Fishes and Loaves is providing hot meals for families inside the shelter.
This place is a little bit better because it's bigger, people can social distance. There are more bathrooms here, so to keep folks out of the cold, we decided to all come together and make this effort happen.
Absolutely. People are so thankful that we are taking the initiative to do this, and we are all volunteer-based programs. And so for us to do this, you know, in inclement weather, Valentine's Day, weekends, things like that, and this will be, you know, for this entire week.
Now, our chief meteorologist, Keith Gibson, is here right now with the very latest on the conditions outside. Keith, what's going on so far?
All right, let's just reset the situation right now, Andrea. It's 9:03. It's Monday, the 15th of February. We have a winter storm. Right now in Columbus, a little bit of a lull in the action. We've had a lot of freezing rain here in the city of Columbus, Lowndes County, but right now a bit of a break. I'm going to do a radar tour for you. Not too much going on down in Noxubee County either. We've got some patches of freezing rain in Vernon, Lamar County. Let's go back to the north, though. Amory, Fulton, Okolona, Tupelo, we're seeing some brighter pinks here. Now, we are getting reports on the ground and via radar that we're getting some heavy sleet to start to mix on in from Tupelo to Pontotoc back to the northwest, especially out here towards Oxford, Water Valley, Coffeyville, Bruce. This is a lot of sleet, and it is really coming on down, and it continues down towards Grenada, Winona, Eupora. So that's pretty heavy sleet right now. Now, the way the atmosphere is set up here, folks, is we've got warm air right over eastern Mississippi, West Alabama, so we're getting freezing rain. You go back to the west, the atmosphere is a little bit colder, so we're getting more sleet versus freezing rain, and that's what's happening now. You go back west even more so in the Delta, and this is some snow back to the west out here. So it is colder to the west, and that's why there's a lot more snow. Now, I want to go down to Jackson, and we'll pop on the Jackson radar real quick and show you what's happening down here. There's more moisture coming our way, and let me put the preset mask back on here. So a lot of this down here across southern Mississippi, by the time it gets into our area, more sleet and more freezing rain. So we have several more hours at least of this through the morning and into the afternoon hours. And there's actually thunder and lightning being detected down here. So this is an unstable atmosphere, and we are getting bursts of heavier precipitation, which is not good news when it comes to freezing rain and that kind of stuff. Let's go to Ole Miss and do a little Skycam tour right now. This is a live view at the campus, and you can see the heavy sleet. This is actually occurring right now, and that is why the roads are all gummed up. We've got big time problems out there. As we go up to Tupelo, we still have some of that sleet that is still in effect, and again, a wintry scene. Our live camera there in downtown. Temperatures only in the teens and 20s across the northwestern parts of the area. Now in Vernon, we mentioned earlier that it's a little bit warmer, right around 30 degrees. So we've had freezing rain. Most of the road surfaces attached to earth are still warm enough to support unfrozen roads. Be suspect of all bridges everywhere today, but the road surfaces and parts of Lamar County attached to ground are a little bit warmer, and they're more wet than frozen right now. Now, the bridges are different. Now, Columbus, same story. Wet roads, temperatures around 30 degrees. We're doing okay on those non-bridge surfaces in Columbus, but other locations, not so much. Louisville, Mississippi, our Skycam there. frozen over right now because it's elevated. Elevated surfaces will freeze first. So that is the current situation across our region. And let's go to bring up our forecast here. Let me bring in the advisories here. So we have the best chance of frozen precipitation, sleet, freezing rain. Let's just say freezing rain. These areas here in the Golden Triangle area, eastern Mississippi, West Alabama, back to the northwest, as we mentioned, better chances for sleet and snow mixing in up here. That could add up to a couple of inches. Now, speaking of those advisories here, well, we're all under a winter storm warning. Some of you under an ice storm warning. Temperatures around freezing in the east right now, supporting freezing rain. 20s and teens supporting sleet back to the west. We will have more weather information for you as we go throughout the course of the show. Andrea?
All right, Keith, thanks so much for that update. Really, the best advice today is to just stay home if at all possible. Roads and bridges are icy out there, and while MDOT is working to place sand on the roadways, staying put really is the best plan for you today. WCBI Stephen Pempo is at the Highway 82 overpass near downtown Columbus. He joins us now live with the latest there. Stephen.
Good morning, Andrea. We are out here live, the overpass overlooking Highway 82 East. A little bit of a slight drizzle, steady drizzle coming down of the sleet still out here this morning. Roads here in Columbus have looked okay so far right now. We just passed a City of Columbus truck laying down a good layer of sand to keep that surface clean and safe for drivers. But elsewhere in northern Mississippi counties, the Department of Transportation is reporting some icy bridges and road hazards. Update on a few situations for you right now. In New Albany, both eastbound lanes of I-22 are shut down at the Scales in Itawamba County. Mile marker 107, troopers are on the scene, so if you do have to drive in that area, please use caution, drive slowly. Also, in Lee County, troopers have advised once the semi-wrecker gets on the scene, the entire westbound side of I-22 in Lee County at mile marker 91 will have to be shut down. Traveling in that area, please use caution, especially if you see troopers or first responders on the scene. And of course, that goes for any accident or traffic incident you might see while driving on roads today. Please use caution. About 32 degrees right now here in Columbus. We'll be keeping you updated on the roads and the weather conditions all throughout the day, so keep it locked in to WCBI News and all our social platforms. Reporting live in Columbus, I'm Stephen Pimpo. Andrea, back to you.
So much. Just want to mention I'm on Facebook Live, and a few people are commenting on letting me know what's happening where they are. Kathy Wilhite says that it's sleeting in Eupora, and Brenda Carradine also reporting sleet in Aberdeen. So we will continue to keep you updated. Stay with us. Keith Gibson will be right back with the latest on what you should expect today. You're watching Mid Morning live on WCBI.
Hey there, Keith. I can tell you one thing. It is frigidly cold outside. You talked about the temperatures getting colder tonight. It's already cold out here. The wind is blowing once that cold front has passed through. But, of course, the big thing we're concerned about right now is roadway temperatures. We are on 18th Avenue, right at Highway 82. We're in the parking lot of the old Logan's Roadhouse. And I've been watching people drive on 18th here over the last 5 minutes or so. And I hate to say it, but I think folks are getting a little too confident out there. Because what is happening is, we had some of that sleet, we had some of that freezing rain earlier. You can see that there. Travel was okay, a big asterisk mark on that, but folks were able to manage it earlier today. But now the colder air is moving in, and the sleet and the freezing rain that was on the ground that was liquid at times has now become solid ice. And the parking lot I'm standing in is solid ice, and that is what's going to happen on the roadways if it hasn't already started happening already. So again, don't go out tonight thinking you can make it, because you very well might not. And as a matter of fact, in West Alabama, they have put out a notice saying, do not get on the roads unless it is for emergency travel. That is a law order. North Mississippi, nothing of that sort yet, but I can tell you the roads are dangerous, and with those falling temperatures, as Keith mentioned, roads will likely be even more dangerous going into tomorrow morning. I'll be up on sunrise starting at 4:30 a.m., keeping tabs on the roadways, but my advice to you, do not get on the roads tonight, tomorrow, likely even into Wednesday morning, as temperatures remain cool. For now, reporting live in Columbus, meteorologist Trevor Burchett, WCBI News.
Well, ice has been a concern for drivers in Lee County, especially on bridges. Our Chris Bolton is in Tupelo with more now on how drivers have been managing the conditions. He joins us live. Chris?
That's right, Andrea. It's been slick out here and drivers have been trying to weather the storm. And I was able to meet up with some drivers over at a gas station just to find out how they're trying to make it through this.
Cold. It really ice, ain't it? Is that snow? Because if that's snow, I don't want the snow no more.
Say goodbye to the fun of snow days. Now Tupelo residents try to weather the winter storm, but doing so has been a challenge.
Well, we had to go by the store, so because it's so cold, man. Got to get some food, but it seems like everything is out.
Everything's real slow, cold. Just trying to be careful out there right now. You know, thing is everything's halted right now with the ice and the road conditions like they are.
Before even hitting the road, drivers are getting an introduction to a wintry mix.
First thing, I can't get out my driveway, so that's one thing.
Once on the road, they see firsthand how dangerous driving conditions are.
Man, I seen a couple cars off on the side of the road, man. I didn't see nobody in them. I hope they're all right, but yeah, man, you got to drive real slow. This stuff is real slick out here, man.
Some drivers have vehicles built to handle the ice.
It's all-wheel drive, so it's good with it. It's really easy on it, so it's actually got a slip mode for the snow.
Others, not so much.
I don't have a truck, man. I'm in a Mercedes-Benz, so I'm sliding all over the road, but I'm sliding in style.
After wrapping up their travels, some are jumping back in the winter wonderland, this time to play with their kids.
Once I get this stuff taken care of, man, I got it all, man. I'm gonna play with it, man. We're gonna get out there and have some fun, but first I gotta handle this first.
Then you have those who want no part.
It's too cold for that.
Just chill out with mama, right? Celebrate eat some of that candy you give them for Valentine's.
I have a snowball on me just in case somebody wants to try some. I'm on the lookout. But reporting in Tupelo, Chris Bolton, WCBI News.
All right, Chris and the folks up in Tupelo having a good time with this icy weather. Thanks, Chris.
WCBI News at 6 starts now.
The freezing rain and sleet has come to an end, leaving accidents and power outages in the wake. Now dangerous, record-breaking, and bitterly cold temperatures are in the forecast. We're talking about single digits across much of the viewing area. Good evening, everyone. For the very latest on this Arctic blast, let's turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Joey, it truly is Arctic out there, the Arctic tundra of the Deep South, and we still have a little bit of light snow being detected. We really had to fine-tune the radar down and pick this up, but we have a little bit of light snow still around, just adding insult to injury to those already icy roads. Now, it's down to 19 in Columbus, 18 in Tupelo. That cold air is now working its way through the eastern part of the area, so we're quickly falling into the teens. Over the next 12 hours, we go from the teens, a little bit of this light snow, that will tend to wrap on up going into the next couple of hours, but by the time we wake up, we're going to be somewhere down to around 8 degrees in the Columbus area. Back to the northwest, even colder. Starkville 7, Tupelo 5, Coffeyville, Oxford around 2 or 3, approaching 0, the actual temperature. Now the wind chills will be below 0. So very cold tonight, very icy tonight. Stay indoors if you can. These icy roads will stay with us probably for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We should not get above freezing until sometime Wednesday. So we're staying cold. There could be another wintry mix in the region by Wednesday afternoon, and some of that could carry over into Wednesday night and Thursday. That system, though, looks like it may have some slightly warmer air with it, so we may see more rain in some spots versus frozen precipitation. We'll have more on that in your full 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, focusing on the temperatures, which will have a big impact on the area tonight. WCBI meteorologist Trevor Pritchett joins us now live with the very latest.
Hey there, Joey. I can tell you one thing. Like Keith said, it is bitterly cold, so don't be like me and go outside unless you absolutely have to. And we're still going to drop about 15 degrees from where we are right now. The problem that is happening right now in Columbus and around the region is we had a lot of that loose sleet that fell earlier and a little bit of freezing rain on top of it, and now that the cold air is really coming in, it is freezing into a solid sheet of ice on the road. So a lot of folks, I've already seen them kind of spinning out a little bit, fishtailing. So do not risk it. If you got out earlier, you might have been okay, but now it is freezing solid. As a matter of fact, West Alabama law enforcement officials saying absolutely do not be on the roads unless it is an emergency. But if you're in North Mississippi, probably a good idea to stay off the road, certainly tonight and into tomorrow as well. I'll be there tomorrow morning on Sunrise with updates on traffic, but for the most part, try to stay off the road. For now, reporting live in Columbus, meteorologist Trevor Burchett, WCBI News.
Golden Triangle Homeless Coalition and Columbus Community Outreach are relocating the warming shelter from the Salvation Army to First Baptist Church in Columbus. Board members say there weren't enough electrical outlets to operate space heaters, making it challenging to keep folks in a comfortable area. In the new location, 16 beds are available for those in need, and staff will serve hot meals daily. Food and toiletry donations are encouraged to help provide that assistance.
Coalition is a year-round operation. We provide shelter during cold weather and hot weather, and we also provide throughout the year for, just odd situations that people get in. We have beds set up, and we have a full kitchen, and we have a place to better serve homeless people.
You can call the Greater Triangle Homeless Coalition or 911 for travel assistance. Now, many of us saw sleet instead of freezing rain with this winter storm, which means power outages weren't as widespread as first thought. However, they are still out there and temperatures are falling into the single digits. Tonight, you may need to find a way to stay warm even if you do have power. John Turner with Fort County Electric Power Association says there are ways to get some extra warmth as long as you do so safely.
Yeah, you can plug in, space heaters and that sort of thing. It is going to be, it's going to be cold, and those space heaters are going to run, and it's going to be expensive. But at this point, you probably would rather go ahead and pay a higher electric bill than, take a chance on having some health issues with the cold. Be smart. Don't do anything in your house that requires ventilation as far as a fire or heat source like that. Don't use your oven to heat. Don't do things like that. Those are very bad. I know people want to do that because they think it makes sense, but those are very dangerous ways to try to heat your home.
Turner also says if you do happen to lose power and you use a generator, keep it outside in a well-ventilated area where you won't inhale the fumes. Well, it's been a long time since Mississippi has seen a day like today. Ice, sleet, freezing rain have led to accidents, power outages. We talked about that, closures, a lot of those across the region. And it could get worse tonight as those temperatures drop. WCBI's Stephen Pimpo has been out covering the winter weather all day today, and now he's joining us live in Columbus. Stephen?
Thanks, Joey. No fewer than 3 times today have I had to scrape sheets of ice off of my car. I talked with Lowndes County Emergency Management Director Cindy Lawrence, who told me she was even cautioning road crews who were trying to clean off the streets to come back inside if things got too dangerous. Now, all Lowndes County government offices will be closed tomorrow, and Lawrence told me for the second day in a row, her message to the public remains the same: stay home. Several hours of freezing rain like this are what turned roads in the Golden Triangle from this into this. Emergency officials in Lowndes County have been planning for this icy weather since Friday.
Make sure you are prepared with your gas, get all your equipment gassed up. Make sure that you use all caution when you're responding to any incident that's either on the highway or roadways.
With another day of freezing temperatures on the way, Lowndes County Emergency Management Director Cindy Lawrence has a simple message for residents.
We're asking people to please stay off the roadway unless it's absolutely necessary. And if you have to go out, please drive slowly.
The same goes for non-essential businesses.
If you're an essential agency or, have essential workers, then please consider closing for the next 2 days, at least Monday and Tuesday, and reassess on Wednesday morning.
Columbus resident Dennis Wilson Wilson is trying to take that advice after stocking up on food and supplies.
It's got too cold weather today, snowing, ice everywhere, so I'm finna go back home and preserve myself.
For those who are staying home, there are precautions to take there as well.
Frozen pipes could easily burst, and because of the potential for all the icing and freezing, maybe days before someone will be there to assist you.
Lawrence says the same wait time goes for the many people who are without power.
The freezing rain that could power poles or power lines or trees fall on lines, that it could be days or even a week before you get power back on.
With or without electricity, Lawrence says those seeking an extra heat source need to be mindful of fire hazards.
Generators are only to be used outside and not inside. Also, if you have power and you have these space heaters, please be very careful in using these space heaters. Only put them in an outlet, not an extension cord.
Since I've been out here, I've seen a couple cars come by on the street, some slowly, some not so much. Lawrence cautions for those who absolutely do have to be out driving, have your car stocked with blankets and a flashlight, and be prepared if you get in an accident to have to shelter in place in your car, as it could take first responders longer than it usually does to get to you. Reporting live in Columbus, Stephen Pimpo, WCBI News.
And speaking of crashes, state troopers have been responding to them all day. The Mississippi Highway Patrol encouraging people to only travel if it is an emergency. Road and bridges quickly became sheets of ice today as all of that precipitation fell. Traffic was much lighter throughout the day, of course, but there were those who ventured out. Troop G in Starkville has not reported any injuries in those crashes as of now. Troopers remind everyone to be prepared.
Stay home and bundle up and be safe in your own residence. But if you do have to get out again, make sure you winterize your vehicle by checking all your fluids, your tire pressure, and making sure you have a full tank of gas, because in the event you're out there, you definitely don't want to run out of gas. But if you get stranded, maybe you want to be able to let your vehicle run to keep warm if you do get stuck out there.
You should also make sure your cell phone is fully charged. Well, drivers haven't fared much better in the All-America City today, where there's been a bit more snow than in the Golden Triangle. Tupelo police and Lee County deputies have been busy on the roads responding to incidents. One Tupelo resident, he says he believes he's seen several vehicles off the roads and believes unnecessary driving could be the main culprit.
A lot of vehicles in the ditch, a lot of people that shouldn't be on the roads with the vehicles not set up for it. Of course, we got four-wheel drive trucks and set up for it, got chains and whatnot. They're trying to drive on the road and they're driving too fast. And of course, they're ended up in the ditches. And then when they end up in the ditch, and they cause someone to hit their brakes and just chain reaction, you know. And that's a lot of the hassle. And the ones that's out there that have to be out here are having to contend with people that ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know. It makes it really hard.
And like so many of our streets, most there are expected to freeze overnight. Well, if you need to pay taxes or buy a new car tag, you'll most likely find the doors frozen shut. But there's another impact you should know about: county business, when we return.
Wherever you are no doubt waking up to ice. The roads and bridges are slippery out there. I can tell you, I crept in this morning to work from the hotel we're staying in here in Columbus. So if you have to be out there today, please be careful. As a matter of fact, we're going to go right now and get an update from WCBI's Stephen Pempo. He's joining us from downtown Columbus. Stephen.
Good morning, Andrea. Mississippians got to wake up to a little bit more picturesque morning on this Tuesday. The snowfall here, flurries picking up even in just the last 5 minutes. Size of the flakes increasing. This is a sizable snowfall, but even though it is a little more pretty today, things are just as dangerous out there. The Monroe County Sheriff's Department tweeting out that deputies believe that roads are even worse this morning than they were late last night. Now, I drove here to the station looking at the roads from my perspective, went all the way up 5th Street from 18th Avenue, and they're not wrong. I had to keep it in almost single digits, maybe under 12 miles per hour to make the drive safely. Now, in terms of problem spots on the road, turning left up by the Walgreens down there on 18th. Got stuck there a little bit. In terms of the hill that you're coming up on 5th Street here in downtown Columbus, do need a little bit of momentum to make it up that way. Again, that's if you absolutely have to be out driving in this weather, which you should not be unless it is 100% vital. A couple driving safety tips for you to be aware of. Always be tapping your brakes, and that's the way you skid, is by slamming on the brakes. Do not slam on your brakes. Always be tapping your brakes so you keep good traction on the roads here, which the snow is only going to make these this sheet of ice that's down here a lot more slick. We will be keeping you updated throughout the day about updated road conditions, weather conditions, everything like that to keep you safe, letting you know what is and isn't open. Again, all county government offices are closed today, so be sure to keep it locked into WCBI for all your updates in regards to this snow. Reporting live in Columbus, I'm Stephen Pimpo. Andrea, back to you.
Watching our Stephen Pimpo out in the snow in Mississippi is not surprising enough. Things are even crazier in our studio. My general manager is my camera person this morning because we're just doing it all the best that we can here. The freezing rain, of course, may have stopped, but the temperature is still at or below freezing. You just saw the snow out there. Let's go over right now to Sunrise meteorologist Vanessa Alonso, who really has been sort of my personal travel guide the last couple of days since she gets here before I do. Give us an update, though, on the conditions out there right now, Vanessa.
Andrea, as you saw, those roads were not good. It usually takes me 5 minutes to get from my house in Columbus to the WCBI studios in downtown. That 5-minute commute this morning took 30 minutes alone. That's to show you just how bad the roads are this morning. And the snow, unfortunately, is not going to help the situation. That is why winter weather advisories have now been put into effect for parts of the WCBI viewing area. It does include Lowndes County and the city of Columbus, because that light snow is actually going to help make those roads a little more slick and unfortunately not good travel weather. So we've been saying it since yesterday, well, actually for the last several days. If you don't need to travel, please just stay at home. It's just best. It's also cold out there. You don't want to be out there in that cold. It is just frigid out there. It does make a pretty picture. Look at this live look at our Bank First camera overlooking downtown Columbus outside the WCBI studios. It's pretty, but trust me, you don't want to be driving in it. Completely different weather story for us here in for our friends in Tupelo. This is a live look from our Alpha Insurance Skycam at the Bureau there in downtown. They're getting sunshine, but roads again are icy and slick there. Same as well in Louisville, Mississippi. And here is a live look at our Durance Pharmacy camera in Vernon. As you can see, cars are just trying to get there to their final destinations if you are an essential worker or if you do need to head out for whatever reason. Again, a little bit of some light snow activity there. Again, it looks pretty, but you don't want to be out there. All counties across the WCBI viewing area are reporting ice on bridges and on roads. So again, we've been stressing it. If you don't need to be out, just don't go out. Here is a look at those temperatures right now. Current temperature sitting in the single digits to the teens. Not record breaking, but still enough when you get that brisk northwest wind. That is when that wonderful wind chill kicks in. It feels like 1 below 0 right now in Coffeyville. It feels like 0 right now in Iuka, 9 degrees it feels like in Tupelo. It feels like 8 in Macon, 7 in West Point. As we head into today, I do think the light snow and the cloud cover we've had this morning is going to be out of here by noon. It is going to be a cold one for us. We're going to stay below freezing with high temperatures alone in the 20s. Now, there is some hope we will see a little bit more sunshine. Our friends in Tupelo are already seeing that. I do think for us here in the southern half of the WCBI viewing area, it is possible. Again, even though temperatures will be in the 20s, it is still going to be cold out there with those wind chills. And also, we're going to be dealing with a hard freeze once again heading into tonight and into tomorrow morning. So I hope you took the proper precautions on your pipes and you've been checking on your neighbors to make sure they're staying warm in this weather, because this is not the best weather for us. I mean, we haven't had anything like this in quite a while in terms of winter weather. Again, those wind chills are going to feel like the teens throughout the day today.
Good evening, everyone. With county government offices shut down again Wednesday, first responders are some of the only agencies in operation during the winter weather. And WCBI's Stephen Pimpo talks with the people who absolutely have to be on the roads in Columbus today. He joins us now live with more on the challenges area emergency workers are facing.
Thanks, Joey. As the sun sets, we can still see a little bit of blue sky and plenty of patches of asphalt on the roads here in Columbus, but that's just the calm before that second winter storm is expected to hit the area. Tomorrow, Clay, Oktibbeha, and Lowndes County government offices all closed, which means once again, first responders in our area are going to be some of the only agencies operating, which means unless you absolutely have to be on those roads, stay home, because guess what? That just creates more work and stretches these emergency workers more thin as they deal with the same conditions as the rest of us. Columbus residents can still expect to hear that sound during an emergency. But for area first responders, getting to a crisis amidst this ice and snow means dealing with the same treacherous conditions that everyone is facing.
We're tasked with getting there at a moment's notice and having to slow things down to make sure that we arrive on scene safely so we can help those that are in need. So the ice on the road is a major concern.
Both the Columbus Police and Fire Departments cited delayed response times as the #1 side effect of dealing with the icy roads. But that isn't stopping them.
The businesses are closed, so we're still looking out for people that may be breaking into places, automobiles. We're still concerned about people at home, domestic disturbance, that violent burglar alarms.
And they have trained for it.
We train for every scenario that we can. Obviously, here in the South, we don't get to train for this very often.
That includes everything from equipping the fire engines with snow chains to operating without the assistance of other agencies.
Fire trucks are very large, they're not easily stopped, and the ice on the road complicates that matter. Once we get on scene, just walking from the truck to the homes is a challenge.
Chief Shelton says 2 of their cruisers got stuck responding to an accident on Saturday.
We had 2 vehicles on the bypass that got stuck. We were responding to an accident on the bypass, and consequently we had to get a tow truck to come and get us off the bypass.
And if it's dangerous for them, it's dangerous for you.
Just stay at home, stay safe, stay warm.
And just in case that isn't clear enough, Starkville Police put out a statement today saying this is not a suggestion. Unless you are essential personnel or it is a dire emergency, you need to stay off the roads, because not only are you jeopardizing your safety, but also the safety of those police and fire personnel that have to go out and make sure that you come to no harm. Reporting live in Columbus, Stephen Pimpo, WCBI News.
Icy roads being blamed for a deadly Oktibbeha County crash. Coroner Michael Hunt says 58-year-old Leander Outlaw died at the scene of the accident. Deputies were called to the 2300 block of 16th Section Road on Monday night about a truck that had rolled over in a ditch. Investigators tell WCBI the truck slid off the icy road and down a steep embankment before flipping. Outlaw was not wearing a seatbelt and was the only person in the vehicle. Drivers across the area slipping and sliding, even though they're being told to stay home. Stephen told you about Starkville PD. Well, here's one of their cameras catching this truck spinning out of control. The agency has been responding to accidents and helping other drivers out of slick spots. On social media, officers were pleading with folks to stay off the roads and use these videos as an example. There have been numerous reports. There have been no reports of serious injuries in those crashes. Meanwhile, the Mississippi Highway Patrol, they've been busy the past 2 days. Troop F in New Albany answered 196 weather-related calls as of yesterday. Troop G in Starkville had 73 during that same time. Across the state, 695 people needed help from a highway patrolman. Some crashes have caused interstates to be shut down. I-22 in Etowah County has been especially hit hard. If you must get out, take it extremely slow and pay attention to your surroundings.
We take you to Siberia, otherwise known as Louisville, Mississippi right now. This is our time lapse from earlier today. The Arctic sunshine, very cold temperatures, a great looking sunset, a nice little pop of color right there, but already clouds increasing. You see that? That is foreshadowing our next system coming our way for tomorrow. We still have a few flurries scattered across our region, but those are really pretty light right now. Mid-teens for lows tonight. We stay cold. The wind is lighter than last night, so the wind chills will not be as extreme, but still nippy out there. Tomorrow, by the afternoon, I think some spots could get into the mid-30s, but there will be a wintry mix developing by midday. Rain could develop in our southeast as that wintry mix continues in the northwest during the day into tomorrow night and Thursday. So at first glance, wintry mix more favored in the northwest, a shot at some mix to rain across our southeastern areas as we get into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. But this is going to be a high impact event, we think, for parts of the area. More ice, more sleet, some snow is possible, more power problems possible, and also those travel issues will be ongoing. We'll have a further breakdown in just a few minutes.
Heating, venting, and air conditioning units are working as hard as us to keep warm. Some areas of the country have seen blackouts as a result of high usage. That's not the case here, though. WCBI's Chris Bolton is live in Tupelo to tell us how to keep your units running in this unusually long stretch of cold weather. Chris?
Are definitely getting put to the test because of this weather. Now, I was able to learn some tips earlier that should keep us warm and keep the bad boy like this one rolling.
You know, we're not designed for 9-degree weather, so we're just trying to fight through it best we can.
Ah, the sweet sound of heat. With freezing temperatures sweeping the area, at-home warmth is vital. Making sure filters are clean and heat pumps are without ice are key to heating systems running properly.
I had a hairdryer outside a customer's house, just trying to get the ice off of it. But what do you do when it's 9 degrees? You just try to do the best you can.
But the most important measure that should be taken is before the winter storm hits.
Don't wait for the cold weather to have to call your service provider. You should already be servicing your equipment more than once a year.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance. You may have heard this saying before when studying for a test. Well, it also applies to making sure your heating and cooling unit is in proper condition for the season.
It's worth it to spend a couple $100 a year to check your equipment than it is to wait for it to go down, and then you're going to be in line with several other people when the roads open up and the companies start opening up, and you know it could take all week to get to customers, and that's what we don't want.
However, at this point in the season, people at home should just simply do what they can to keep the heat from escaping.
Just try to keep the doors closed, keep the windows closed, keep anything you can, try to keep the heat in.
Reporting in Tupelo, Chris Bolton, WCBI News.